always say to people is that if you come to Courville-sur-Mer, and even if there's a very crowded day, just pick one row and walk and linger at each cross and think about how old they were and where they came from, and then get to the beachhead and look down and try to imagine. And I say, be prepared to have your knees buckle and your emotions unleashed. And it's almost always the case.
There's also, Alex, as Tom just alluded to, there's a village called St. Mary's, which is about a 45-minute drive from Courville-sur-Mer here. And there is a fairly large American cemetery at St. Mary's. I think about 4,400 Americans buried there. And if you go through the logs of those who are buried, you find, to your complete shock, that there are 20 sets of brothers buried side by side in that cemetery. And that was the burial site is not far from where the enormous tank battles occurred at St. Lo, Patton's Third Army coming through there. And so there were enormous American casualties in that area. But the larger point that you began talking about, and we're dating ourselves here every 15 seconds, Tom, you and I. But
it's all right.
But
I don't think it's a secret from this audience.
But growing up, one of the biggest differences in the country then and our country today is that I grew up on a street where nearly everyone on the street, an adult, was going to school or college on the GI Bill.
Right.
They were buying homes with VA mortgages, and we had 2 housing projects in the city where I grew up, and they were called Veterans Projects.
Right.
And they were fine housing for veterans' families. Right. We have forgotten our veterans today.
Well,
they weren't forgotten.